Hi everybody, let me show you how I remove the battery from my Cadillac 2017 Cadillac XT5. First off, you have to remove this bar that goes over the top of the battery. You remove this bolt on the right side of the bar. It's a 10 millimeter That's a 10 millimeter nut, bolt, and then there's a 10 millimeter nut on this side, left side, that you need to remove. So we get those done. Okay, once you've got that bolt out and this nut over here on the left removed, then you have to pull this bracket right here off of the top of this hold down rod, and you grab the whole assembly on the left here and just work it up, pulling upward, and then it'll clear that the top of that rod, and then you can slide that rod off the top with a little bit of effort. There we go. You can put that aside. All right, now we need to remove the negative terminal cable. So that's a 10 millimeter nut. Just loosen that up real good. Once you get that loose, pull that cable off. Or let's see if we can get this clip undone and this wire off first. Let's see. Okay, push in that clip, wiggle it, and it comes off. And it's nice and loose already, so pull that negative cable off to the side, and now we have that off. Next thing we want to do is to remove or open this cover right here. And to do that, you can push in on two tabs. There's a tab right here. You push in at the bottom to loosen it. And then also there's another tab. You just open up this red cover that covers the positive terminal. There's another tab right there. You push in, see at the top, and that loosens it. So we'll push this one. Actually, you push at the top for both of those. And then you push it on this one and lift it up, and that opens the whole cover. You can also just remove that cover completely. You can see that there's a hinge right here. You can just pop it loose from that hinge and set the whole thing aside. Once you have this open, you need to remove these 4 nuts. 1, 2, 3, 4, actually 5, and that one as well. And then you need to loosen this nut, which is on the positive terminal. You don't need to take that one completely off. Just loosen it enough to wiggle it loose from the post, the positive post. And all right, let me go ahead and do that. First off, these two are 10 millimeter, as well as the terminal nut, and these 3 are 13 millimeter. All right, when you get those nuts good and loose, then you can set aside, you can take off. This one has a nut that comes all the way off. You can pull that off, set that aside. And next one, the nut is attached, and you can take it off, set it aside, as well as these other 2 smaller ones. There's also a foolproof thing that they have done here, and they have put numbers on these cables, these 4 cables, so that and they put numbers on the corresponding plastic tabs down here on the side. You have to look close to see them, but they're there, and that way you put them back in the proper way. So anyway, you can push those off to the side, get them out of the way. Then you come back to the positive terminal, and that's loose, and you pull this nut all the way off as well. Set it aside, and then you can pull this positive, this bar that goes on the positive terminal completely off and set it aside as well. Once we have those off, then there's only 2 things left holding the battery down. One is this whole plastic piece here that we were just working on. It clips onto the battery, actually. So it clips in 2 places. Right here is one. There's 2 clips down here. You can see the edge right here. It hooks onto the lip of the battery on this side, and then it has corresponding clips on the left side, just like that. They go in under and clip on the top of the battery. So you do need to take those off and set it aside, set this whole thing aside. So you pull on these clips on this side, and then I might need, let's see, yeah, then you can work off the other side, get it away from these cables, and then you can twist it and set it aside over here on the right. Make sure you don't tip it over and maybe lose those fuses. So anyway, there we go. It's kind of pushed off to the side. They'll stay there. Then the only other thing that we have that holds the battery in place is down there. There's a 13mm bolt that you need to pull out. There's a little bracket down there that holds the base of the battery down. So get you an extension on your socket and reach down there and take that out, and then you can pull the battery out. And then putting it back together is the reverse of that. Put your new battery back in and put everything back on. All right, once you got your new battery sitting in place, you put that bracket back on down there, and or tighten that bolt that holds the base of the battery down. Tighten that down to hold your battery in place, and then take this plastic piece and put it back in place. Just put it on the edge and push it down, and you heard it click in place, maybe. Check that. Okay, once you have that plastic piece clicked back in place, it's secure. Then you just put your cables back on. Here you've got number 8 goes to number 8, number 7. Okay, get that on there. Get started. That's number, you can see right here, that's number 6, and then number 5. Okay. So we can get those tightened on there. Also, we need to put that positive terminal back on, or the bar that connects the positive terminal to everything. Get that on there, and then get the nuts that go on there. There's one that goes there and one that goes to the number 5 cable. All right, let me tighten all that back down. All right, now that everything's tightened back down, all those nuts are back in place and tight, then we can put the cover back on this, and here we go. Take this and it should be really easy. Just clip it back on that little hinge piece and then close it. What do we got? Is it? Yep. There we go. It's tight now. This red piece, make sure that stays on nice and tight. And then from there we can put the bar back on. Okay, now that we have that plastic cover back on, now we need to put on the hold down bar, and we'll have to pull this whole assembly up and over this hold down rod right here, so that we can slide that up underneath. I guess you wouldn't have to, but that's the way it came. So you slide that up, then the rod's visible. Take the rod, put it in place. Okay, got it. Now slide this whole assembly back over, and then push it down, make sure it's all in place. Then we can put the nut back on there. We can put the bolt on this side. Then the only thing left is to connect our negative terminal. Okay, the negative terminal needs to go on. We need to connect that wire to the negative terminal as well. I'll go ahead and push this on here and see if I can find that wire. There it is. Fish that wire out. Come over here and slide it in place. Clip goes on the outside, obviously. All right, just down there nice and tight, and then use the 10mm socket to tighten it up. Everything's harder one-handed. Get that nice and tight. And that should do it. We've tightened our battery down with the bracket over here at the bottom of the battery, and we've got this bar on and tightened down. We have our cables connected underneath the plastic cap, and we have our positive terminal on, so we should be ready to go. So hopefully that helped anybody who's replacing their battery in their XT5. I know the videos I saw earlier didn't look that easy, but it's really not that difficult. Hopefully this is helpful for you. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.